First up, Jay Paul, our director, if we can meet our first guest. He's been here many times in the program. We're always glad to have him. Brent McKinney is Executive Director of the Piedmont Authority for Regional Transportation, better known as PART. And we're having Brent on today because a few weeks ago, Brent, you came up with an idea for something, actually sponsored this. It was called a Livable Communities Summit. And I heard it was just highly successful. I was there as well, but I'm going to get you to comment on it. Why was there a need for a summit?
We wanted to bring together several perspectives regarding transportation, housing, economic, environment, as well as the cost of transportation itself. We wanted to look at the policies that are now in place and how those might be better aligned to provide affordable transportation, and also the emphasis being placed on livable communities today.
Yeah, I think I counted over, this is unofficial on my part, but I was trying to scan the crowd. It looked to me like over 250 leaders, and these were movers and shakers, right?
Jim, we had 253 registered attendees for the conference, and they were elected folks, people who serve on appointed boards. We had engineers, planners, environmentalists.
And some mayors.
We had a great cross-section of people there.
Mayors, county board of supervisors, people from all over the area. Of course, PART serves a wide area. How many counties?
10 counties.
10 counties.
10 counties.
And the people, even outside of that area, were there. I want to talk about some of the guest speakers and what went on. Don Kirkman from Piedmont Triad Partnership spearheaded a panel discussion, but you also had a very special guest that was there that day, too.
We had Secretary of U.S. DOT Ray LaHood came down, was our featured speaker, and was our main draw. And obviously brought in a large number of folks and just did a fantastic job. Really spoke to the issues that are of great importance to us in the Triad.
He also, when questioned by some of the leaders there, I was really impressed with his not so much just the speech was good, but afterwards he started getting some Q&A. You asked him to do some Q&A.
Yes.
And I thought it was interesting that some of the leaders were saying, well, now, what do we need to do to get federal funds? And what do we need to do with this? And what do we need to do with that? And he finally just said, you know, he actually used these words. He said, you need to get your act together. He said, you need to work together. There are these 4 metropolitan planning organizations around here, and you need to act as one. Can you comment on that? And do you agree with what he was saying? And what was the impact of that statement?
I think there's a growing realization that we do live in regional communities. And within our regional communities, it really works better when people are speaking with one voice and when we're working together. If you look at the Triad, and the Secretary asked me about this before he went up to speak about it. He said, how do you get along here? And I told him, folks work well together. We get along. We do pretty good in meeting our transportation needs. When I told him that we had 4 MPOs in this area, he was set back for a moment because these planning organizations were required by the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1962, in that every metropolitan area of 50,000 or more population has to have this process to coordinate transportation planning. So here in the Triad, we have 4.
Burlington, Graham, Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem. And each wants to get their share of federal funds and whatever. But he was sort of, saying to them politely, you need to pull together if you want to get a better share of funds and if you want to attract jobs.
And in the past 50 years, a lot of things has changed. We have grown together. The population of our state has doubled. We have added 2 rural planning organizations. We've added 2 councils of government. We've added 1 regional transportation authority, and we are all responsible for our territories. And so there is a fair amount of competition there, and sometimes it's to our detriment.
You had some survey results come out where the attendees were very supportive of trying to get financing for public transportation. Are you happy with the results of the summit, and what do you think is going to come of it?
Well, we ask opinions. Should additional funds be programmed for mass transportation, for public transportation? It was like 96% were in favor of doing that. We asked, should mass transportation systems be extended out into rural areas where folks incur the most transportation costs to meet their needs? Again, it was 90+%. We asked about providing transportation to the elderly and handicapped. Again,
Agreed.
It was 90+% people that we should be doing more in these areas.
Well, up on screen is the PART website, www.partnc.org, which you can go to for all sorts of information. But I'm just really proud of what you did with the summit and bringing people together, and I think it's going to be a good springboard for some ideas. Come back and we'll talk about it.
We hope so. Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
All right, Brent.